Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we'll stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start with public comment. Anybody have any public? Yeah, Bill. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dennis Jonski. Two issues. One of them, last year there was a motion that passed about repairing our Patterson Avenue, Chapman Street.
We're going to talk about that tonight.
Okay.
That's why we have the man right next to you here.
The other issue that was out there was developing a Spirit Park.
Yep, and we're going to talk about that tonight too.
Sutherland and,
yep.
Right.
And was there any consider information gained from Consumer Powers about going to the LED streetlights?
Consumers Power, I did talk to the head of Consumers Power, it just happened to go to my church. And he said the cost of us to do LED would be prohibitive. We would never be able to do it. They've just put in all brand new lights. I think Rachel knows more about this than I do, but I just happened to have a good conversation with him after church one day. But he said that would not be something Consumers Power would do, or that we should even think about doing because of the cost. And he said the new lights that we put in are, outstanding lights. So that's not going to happen in at least the next few years, I'm sure. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to close public comment, and I'm going to introduce Brent Shank. Brent has taken over as the Road Commission Manager. Oh, I think I got that right. And I think the last time we had a Road Commission person here was Mike Roper was here, and Ken Paquet was here when we were talking about the millage. So do you want to say a few things, just a little bit about what you're doing and how the Road Commission under your leadership is going to kind of improve and what you're doing? And I think there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of interest in Devereaux Lake, which was on the federal funding, and then we want to talk about the crack ceiling proposal and brining and the brine.
Well, as far as what kind of goals we have for the Road Commission, we'd like to start promoting preventative maintenance on our paved roads that we have in the county to keep them in good shape with what money we do have. As everyone's aware, the whole state's back to the drawing board as far as what to do about road funding with the proposal not passing. We're back to square one, looking to see how we're going to keep our budget solvent and be able to keep our roads plowed in the wintertime and graded in the summertime. Really cuts back on the amount of maintenance we can do, but we'll concentrate on keeping the roads we have in good shape. Devereaux Lake Road. Right now, Devereaux Lake Road has fallen to the obligation authority that the state has. They've run out of obligation authority with the federal funds they receive. The federal highway bill expires in June, so hopefully our federal Congress will renew that bill and get that money flowing back. As soon as that happens, we are waiting in line with that project. And as soon as that money starts coming back to the state, they'll start funding projects in the queue that we're in, and hopefully our project will be funded.
Great. So right now, we don't have any money to fund that project, I understand, right?
Correct.
Okay. And we should know in June, early July?
The bill expires in June. I mean, typically, it's been extended or renewed, or if for some reason they want to get busy, they'll write a new bill, but typically they've extended it.
Mm-hmm. And I know that on Devereaux Lake, I think Dennis and John both talked to you about the possibility of putting bike shoulders on there. You know, shoulders that we could use for bikes, wasn't that right?
We talked about bicycle path possibility. Yeah. We talked about curbs on the one end.
Right. The road will be paved with a 2-foot paved shoulder.
Okay.
As is proposed, and that's what's sitting at MDOT right now.
Okay.
The engineering for it has all been done.
Yes. It's gone through all the MDOT process. It got held up when it was time to obligate the funds. MDOT only obligates 2/3 of the funds that come in, so they hold that other third back to cover any project overruns. And usually that money ends up downstate. Our task force caps the dollars we're allowed to have on projects. Other areas don't. So when they have project overruns, it comes out of the statewide pool, which affects smaller counties like us.
I think what John and I were discussing was when we get ready to do East Mullett Road, that we would look at 4-foot shoulders on that chunk of pavement. Because Devereaux Lake, like Brent and John both said, it's already designed.
Yeah.
I think you need to clarify or expand on the funding. You know, I read the article in the paper, and I think you did a pretty good job explaining it, but maybe not everybody understands. You could divert money from your project money right now and do Devereaux Lake, but then you essentially give back to the federal government the money that
Our only choice right now would be to advance construct the project, which means the road commission would have to cover the federal portion.
Right.
And to do that, we would have to write a check for $540,000, which is over half of our cash balance. And the board decided that probably would not be a good choice at this time. Because we would be taking the chance of that bill not passing or being extended, and we'd be
losing the money.
We'd have a nice new road, but we'd be out that money.
Right.
Okay.
Can I comment?
Yeah.
Mr. Paquet ran for road commission more than 6 years ago, and that was one of his campaign speeches was Devereaux Lake Road. This was before your time.
Right.
And a year ago, there was a rally of citizens along Devereaux Lake Road that came in and complained. And they moved it up and made precedence of that road trying to get it done. And they said revenue pending that they would do Devereaux Lake Road. And I asked, and several other people asked, if the engineering could be done so that if the revenue was approved, it could be done this year and not be held up by engineering. And the board they agreed with that, and they did do the engineering last fall. And this spring, we were told that Devereaux Lake Road was going to be done, and we were told that possibly around the corner on East Mullett Lake Road down to Quail Trail could be done, or Derby.
Quail Trail.
Depending on the thickness that we wanted to lay down. And it brought a lot of excitement, and it caused, maybe I took that information as to be true because it was revenue pending before, so I was excited about it and started telling people that we were going to get done because I was hearing that we were going to get done. And then within 30 days, 45 days later, I hear, well, the plug's been pulled on the thing. And you have different buckets of revenue that are assigned or earmarked for different projects, apparently.
Being that that's a federally funded project, all the federal funds come from Washington to the state, and they're responsible for them. And those federal funds get divided up amongst the task forces across the state, which comprise of counties and transportation agencies and the cities and villages in the different task force regions. And then within those task force regions, that money gets further divided and allotted to each county or city and village, and transit also gets a share of it. within the last 2 or 3 years, the way their obligation authority works has changed, and they've gone more from a regional obligation limit to statewide, which means that larger counties and MDOT, they get the projects in quicker, and that money gets chewed up quicker. And it really puts a lot of the smaller counties in the northern part of the state traditionally kind of behind the 8 ball, because we don't have large engineering staffs or large pots of money to have pre-engineered projects just sort of sitting on the shelf. So we work a project basically the season before, so over the winter we can submit it into the MDOT process. It goes through their review, their different levels of review, and when the final plans are accepted by MDOT, they submit it to the feds for obligation. And when we hit that point of submitting for obligation, that was where the line got drawn, because the obligation authority was exceeded. So everything the road commission did, starting when it was proposed as a project, has been timely. And we hit a roadblock at MDOT with the obligation authority. And that was complicated by the highway trust bill sunsetting this year, which shuts off the flow of money to the state. As soon as that gets renewed, that money will start flowing back into the state, and they'll start obligating projects. And the one good thing we're hearing from MDOT right now is wherever we fell in line when that happened, we're going to stay in that line, so we don't have to resubmit on a first come, first served basis. So that's the only bit of good news I can share right now, is that we're in a line and we're going to stay there until hopefully that bill is renewed.
Yeah, I wish we would have never ran out and had it in our minutes and told people that it was a go.
Typically, we don't run into problems like that. It's in the last couple of years where counties have been running into MDOT and their obligation authority being exceeded. And it's the way they've changed the way they monitor it down in Lansing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we want to talk about crack sealing.
Okay.
So I sent you all a copy of the crack sealing proposal. What they're proposing is what we talked in our budget time. Bennett Road to Mullett Road, Columbus Street to Columbus Street to Newton Street, Newton Street to Columbus Street, Columbus Street, and Woodruff Street to Portage Street, which I think takes care of the questions that you had, Dennis, right?
Oh, ours is Chapman, Sutherland, Patterson.
Yeah, this is crack sealing though.
This is crack sealing.
That's not.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that project that we started 3
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, we had that. That's right. I talked to you about that, but that was crack sealing too.
That was seal coat.
Seal coat.
Seal coat.
Seal coat, right. Okay. So, well, let's finish this one. Is everybody okay with the crack sealing project done? So can we have a motion to accept the proposal from the Road Commission on crack sealing?
So moved.
Support.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll sign this and give it to you before, I'll sign it right now and I'll give it to Rachel. Yeah, we have a project that I talked to you about when I went to the meeting, which was seal coating for those, and we already put a deposit down
Yes.
3 years ago. What's the status on that one?
It looks like we're going to be able to seal coat this year. I'm expecting to be able to complete those projects.
Okay, so you'll send us a same kind of thing that you did on the,
Yes.
okay.
We do have a signed agreement from last year we can work off
Yeah.
of, or I can send.
We don't need another one, just,
Okay.
we just need to know the timing and when it's gonna happen.
I would guess right now it'd probably be sometime late July.
Okay. Okay, great.
We paid 2%.
We paid 2% on
Yeah, we have a
that
deposit.
3 years ago.
I do have a deposit?
Yeah.
Yep, we're all
Okay,
set.
I need a copy of this before I give it back to you, to sign.
I'll get it signed and send it back.
He has to
I
sign
gotta
it.
have Dana sign it too.
He has to sign it, and they'll send it back to you.
Okay, all right, very good. Who else has a copy?
I don't, that's the only copy I
That's the only
have.
copy.
I do.
Oh.
Okay, I need that for the minutes. Thank you.
Okay, then we had, we did get from the road commission on, to all townships on dust control for the brine. And I need to have a agreement from the group to accept proposal. And what I'd like us to use the same one we did last year. It's the mineral brine instead of the chlorine brine. The mineral brine we used was the contractor out of Michigan Chlorine Sales in St. Louis. They did a great job. We had our fire truck guys go on the brine, and I think we missed one road. So I really feel we have a really good system. I've already asked Mike if he would check to see if we could get the fire guys to do it again. So the cost of this, the mineral brine, is 22 cents a gallon. Minimum truckload is 9,500 gallons truckload, which is what we use 4 truckloads. And I'd just like to get going on it. You have a
What
question?
was our total bill last year? Do you remember what our price was last year?
It was, the price I think the price was almost the same as last year, wasn't it? Maybe even less of what we paid last year.
Fuel costs coming down, I would have thought.
I don't,
Isn't Michigan chloride? Is that what you said?
that's what we used last year.
That's what we used last year, but
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what the price was. I can go check for it, but I know maybe it was even less than this, or about the same price, but I think it was pretty close. You probably don't remember. But if you want to use the chlorine, which is 65 cents a gallon, I mean, that's ridiculous.
No.
And if you use the
No, it's
Gaylord
accurate.
guys from Beekman,
It was
they're 23 cents a gallon. So we're using pretty much the cheapest guy. And I thought they just did a great job. I mean,
And-
they were done within, I think, about 4 hours.
Mhm.
Wasn't it right, Mike?
Mhm.
Wasn't it? Where's Mike?
Yeah,
It's about 4 hours.
We paid 4 hours
Yeah.
for the firemen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't astronomical.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Well, we use 4 truckloads, 2 on
Mhm.
this side and 2 on that side,
Mhm.
and 1 truck up around top of the top of the hill. Everybody okay with that?
I'll make a motion that we do the same as last year, including paying the firemen for 4 hours.
Thank you.
Same as we did last year.
Okay, great.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Just a minute.
So this one I don't think I need, I just need to give you the top copy, right?
Mm-hmm. So I know when the bill comes through, it's been approved.
Yeah. Now, just so I understand, we got an application. Do we have to sign this?
Yeah, that has to be turned into.
Okay. Does this need to be signed for both of us, Rachel and myself, or just one? I didn't understand what this.
You sign up under the applicant
I think you
section
can
towards
do
the
it.
top.
I don't think I need
Oh, right.
to sign that one.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. So then I'll give you these 2 things back. And then can you send Rachel a copy back of
Yeah,
this?
I need a copy of this.
Oh, here's the other permit. Okay. Okay. That goes to Rachel, and then I just call these guys, just like I did last year, and schedule it, and then call the 2 supervisors.
To have the roads graded.
Make sure the roads are graded. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to try, just so everybody knows, I'm going to try to get this in like right after the 4th of July. I think we did a little early last year. We did it in June, and I think it was just a little bit too early. So I'm going to try to get it in around the 4th of
What did
July.
you say, it was 21
It's
cents a gallon?
22 cents.
22? Okay.
You may want to call soon to try to.
I'm gonna
at
call
least
them tomorrow.
reserve the time.
I'm going to call them tomorrow morning.
Okay, good, because I know they're booking up
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah, I was going to call them tomorrow morning, but I can't do it until I have roads approved. Okay, and then one other thing I just want to talk about. Would you want to say anything about the year-end report, or is that just something I should pass around to the board members?
That's just for information.
Just information?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'll just pass it around so everybody can, peruse it. And if you want a copy, I'll get you one.
I went to their evening meeting and I picked one up.
Okay,
so
good.
I'm all set.
Okay, great. Okay, last thing that, just as long as you're here, I need you to be here for this last thing. I had somebody ask a question about the Spirit Park, and I just want to read you a quick letter. Closed is an addendum to your existing lease covering your operation and maintenance of a section of North Central State Rail Trail. The addendum adds language that authorizes use of state land along the trail for development operation of a pedestrian park referred to as the Spirit Park. Please review the documents that close. If you agree, sign all copies and return to me. Once executed by the department, original copy returned to you for your file. So we got the lease. Now, in the lease, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's not just like they're turning over this to us. One is we can't put a gazebo in there, and I'll get copies of this lease so people can see it and read it. But it says to maintain and operate, improve, and develop a trail pursuant to Exhibit A and A1, which were the site maps that Irview did, subject to conditions in Exhibit B and C, that's the original lease, in accordance with the state land use amendments Exhibit D. And basically what it says is approval of plans, permits must be obtained from impacted landowners, including the Cheboygan Road Commission, prior to the lease approval of final plans. All final plans must be engineered to show bridge, trail surfacing, rain garden treatments, benches with covers. Final plans must attempt to minimize the removal of trees. Due to the narrow forest nature of this piece of land, care must be taken to limit impacts to the gully, as well as the separation of homeowners and Straits Highway. Due to the narrow forest nature of this piece of land, no gazebos will be allowed. A maximum of 2 covered benches will be allowed, and benches must meet ADA standards. Due to the concerns with safety of travelers on the trailway, no more than 2 connecting points should be made. Trail leading to the pedestrian park must be ADA approved. That means crushed limestone. And leasees responsible for all costs associated with development, maintenance, and operation of the pedestrian park, including any permits and/or inspections required. Leasee to provide copies of all permits and/or inspections to leaseor within 5 business days of receipt. So we're basically taking a piece of land that's down here, Brent, for your knowledge, and we're going to turn it into a park, but as naturally as possible. So the only thing we wanted to do chip wood chips, but they told us we had to do limestone for ADA approval. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. So we would like to walk you probably maybe next week down through the piece of property. So, and then I've got to find out what permits we have to get. I'll call Stemke and find out what permitting we need from, because it shouldn't touch the county road at all, but I think they definitely want you to see it for some reason.
You can take a look at it.
So this is great news. It took us a while to get it. Huh?
Kind of good.
It took us a while to get it, but at least we got it. So I think that's really exciting. So Spirit Park's going to become a reality. So MaryJan, back there, you're going to have to start with your fundraising campaign, right? We got some money in the fund, right? Yeah, good. Okay. So I think that's it, Brent. If there's anything else you want to talk to us about, I think I got all the...
One more later on our agenda.
Yeah.
I see Lea Street, trimming trees on Lea Street.
In front of schoolhouse that need to be trimmed, not in quote. 1 dead tree according to view. I haven't talked to him about that. So did you talk to him? Okay, Rachel's going to talk about it.
Well, my question while Brett's here is if it's in the road right away, how does that work?
That's a good question.
If it's in the road right away, we just need to issue a permit for it.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
Based on what I read, I assume.
Yeah, well, it was
That, I don't
it was on the old school property.
Okay, if it's on our property, then it
Yeah,
makes sense. But
right.
if it's on the street, then what we do
Yeah,
is we
no, it wouldn't have been on
talk
us.
to you and get permits
Right.
if they're in the road easements.
Okay, great.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, awesome. I think we're all done. We really appreciate you coming.
Good thing.
Yeah, and did you give him the papers?
Yep.
Oh, you're all set.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll go back to the agenda then. Letters from public to be read.
Mm-hmm. These are the ones we missed last time because we had so many letters we couldn't get to all of them. Dear Township Board members, we are writing as residents and as current members of the Township Board Recreation Committee in support of the development of township recreational sites that the Board has developed over the past years and in the future. MaryJan's family has been coming to Topinabee since the 1890s, and we have owned property here since 1986, finally making Topinabee our permanent home in 2009. What we have seen in the past 6 years has brought us hope that Topinabee and Mullett Township will continue to not only exist but improve so that our children and their children will be able to enjoy and be proud of the community that is so important to us and them. What we have seen has shown that, as the years pass, thoughtful and planned development of our community and our natural resources is possible and necessary. The completion of the Topinabee Beach Park has shown to residents and visitors alike that Topinabee residents care enough about their environment to want to make it appealing and functional for ourselves and the visitors who support our local businesses. The members of the current Recreation Committee represent both the east side and west side of Mullett Lake. As such, we are looking at the thoughtful and planned development not only of the township property in Topinabee, but also in and around Boy Scout Park. There have been 4 sites on the west side of the lake that have been identified for further development: Block 5, Sutherland Lake, Old Schoolhouse, and a small piece of property north of Topinabee. We did not concern ourselves with our wonderful beach park, since that was already complete, except for remedying the lack of needed parking that you are currently addressing. Our main focus on this side of the lake is to move forward with a plan for Block 5 that was the brainchild of Earth Crawford, which has received wide support within our community for its beauty and the fact that it represents an alternative space for people to enjoy the lake that is different from the beach park. We hope to receive some grant funds to develop what is now known as Spirit Park, but much of the development will probably be coming from the township and through donations from members of the community who also shared their generosity at the beach park in providing the amenities for all of us to enjoy. The addition of kayak racks at all the park spaces will encourage folks who are using kayaks to have a place to put their kayaks while they're enjoying either the beach park or Spirit Park. We strongly encourage you to continue your efforts to improve our little community and park areas that are welcoming to those who enjoy both the sunny spaces as well as the quiet of the wooded areas, or the playgrounds at the beach and up on the hill at the schoolhouse. Sincerely, Gary and MaryJan Miller. The other letter I have, this one is from Jim Earhart. First, let me qualify myself. I am a Fudgy. I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, and have been summering on Mullett Lake for many summers. I love the lake, the land, my neighbors, and many of the great memories I have. But I have also watched as Cheboygan County has atrophied over the years, especially when compared to Emmett, Otsego, and Charlevoix counties. This should not be happening since the Cheboygan County area has as many or more resources and beauty as the others. Where other locales in the tip of the mitt have invested in infrastructure to attract economic opportunity, aka jobs, Cheboygan County has focused on a race to the bottom, where Emmett County gets ski resorts and major vacation development. Cheboygan County and its communities fight the development that will improve the quality of life and employment prospects of its youth. Where are the highlights of Cheboygan County development? A hospital, the county's biggest employer, that goes bankrupt because the number of paying patients is too small, closing down a paper mill over labor disputes, a 50-year struggle to get sewer system in place so the development can occur, lots of empty storefronts, zoning and planning decisions that are either unenforced or enforced without regard to the consequences. The only growth areas have been taxes, government employment, and welfare roles. What are the root causes of this obvious atrophy? I certainly see one: attitude. Don't change a thing. I like it the way it is. It's a pervasive attitude of the curmudgeons who appear at public meetings to to decry infrastructure improvements. Do they really enjoy driving past empty storefronts to go to Petoskey or Gale or to shop? I suggest Cheboygan County needs a reassessment of its priorities. This is from Jill Lutz to Rachel Osborn in Topinabee Township. At the last meeting, you willingly read my opposition letter regarding the park proposal. I objected for several reasons. Many of these were due to my lack of clarity as to the site, location, knowledge of construction, and a desire for a green environment. Since then, I have had further explanations on many of these topics. Therefore, I withdraw my previous letter of resistance. I do hope that as the plans move ahead, consideration will be given to retaining healthy historical trees and an enhancing of the green environment. Jill Lutz. I have another one. I don't know whether you want to do this.
I think we've got.
This is about the dog fencing.
Well,
do you want to wait and
let's
go
wait
to that
and do
one
the
later?
dog fencing later. Yep.
Okay. The other one that I have is this isn't an open letter. It is an open letter to the township, but it's regarding whether we want to renew the charter franchise.
I think that's next on the agenda. You want to take that quickly? Letter and charter concerning renewal of franchise agreement.
Yeah. Okay. The charter franchise, locally known as Charter Communication, has appreciated the opportunity to serve Mullett Township and its residents over the years. As you know, Section 626 of Title VI of the Communications Act of 1934, as amended, the Cable Act, contemplates a procedure for a formal procedure for the renewal of franchises. The process under the Cable Act begins with a notice of intent to renew approximately 30 to 36 months prior to the expiration of the franchise. In conformance with the Cable Act, Charter is notifying you that it is our intention to renew the franchise agreement whereby we serve your community. As you may also know, the state of Michigan has adopted streamlined procedures for the renewal of cable franchise. We anticipate the renewal of our franchise under these procedures and will submit the relevant documents as the date of expiration approaches. We appreciate the opportunity to provide our services to the residents of your community, and we look forward to continuing to offer high-quality services in Mullett Township in years to come. Should you have any questions or concerns regarding this matter, please contact me at DonCladwell@charter.com. And there's a telephone number also if we have any questions. So I can take care of that, or MaryAnne can take care of it, however we want to go forward.
Do we have to do anything right now, or are they going to contact us?
No, they will send it. So probably what we would entertain is, are we going to go forward with it?
I don't know. What are the other options other
No,
than?
there aren't any.
That's what I was going to say. What other option do we have?
Well,
Maybe we could get charter
dial up.
going down.
Dial up.
Franchises come in two forms.
Okay, yeah, I
Revocable
don't.
and irrevocable.
Yeah.
We need to know which one they're requesting.
Okay, when it comes up, I'll notify the board then. I don't know anything about
It
this.
sounds like this is
'Cause it
like
was
this
done
is
a long-
36 months ahead of
Yeah,
time.
60 months.
Yeah. Cool.
3 years to 5 years ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so irrevocable or
Or revocable. Irrevocable, it goes on the ballot,
Right.
and the people vote on it after the board approves
Right.
it, and then it's locked. Or revocable, the board approves it, but can withdraw it, the
Okay.
way it's been explained to me.
Okay, I will inform the board then. Thank you
So,
very much.
in our motion,
I
we'll want to
appreciate
know
that.
which way we're going to
Okay.
be requesting it.
Well, what
Okay.
are we right now? Obviously,
I have
we
no
must be
idea.
irrevocable.
I don't know, it was
right
done
now.
long before I
Your
came
electric
on.
franchise with Presqu'île is irrevocable.
Irrevocable.
It went on
You
the
could
ballot.
check with them.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
wonder if charter did also. We probably need to know where we are right now with them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I want to move down because I have a guy